Welcome back to Sawtooth Revival. Looks like it's starting to dry out in here a little bit. Yeah, it's been a while since it's rained, so it's slowly drying out. But today, I'm gonna do a little bit of a different video. I think it's been 14 or 15 videos since we've kind of done a little bit of a tour, and I've really only shown the Sawtooth area. So I figured today we'll walk down along this end, kind of show you what's going on over here, and then pop the door open, kind of see some light coming through that nurse's station down there. Figured we'd walk out that door out to the backyard, kind of walk across the back of the property a little bit. But I also want to remind you that, yeah, I still want to try to get to 75 subscribers before the end of this year. If you could help me out and subscribe, that'd be awesome. So let's go ahead and walk across this little kind of bridge I put up from scraping all the floor up. Went ahead and piled up some wood here because this floor from, I almost fell there, all the way across is starting to rot. Have a huge hole there. Because this last sawtooth is falling in this way, all the water just rushes down that roof on this floor here. So it's pretty much gone. Which reminds me of one thing I'm gonna do is probably bring a circular saw in here and cut from that wall all the way along to that side. And just go ahead and get rid of all the flooring, prop up those pallets through these archways here to keep people from kind of walking over this direction. I'm hoping that'll help keeping from people walking over here if they're not familiar with the building, so they won't end up down in the basement. This door here we don't use at all because the floor's rotted out down at the bottom there. So that's why I went ahead and popped that door open. You can actually see that wall for that nurse's station doesn't go all the way up, so you can see the light coming across the top. So this side of the building, really we've just been storing a bunch of stuff. We went down to the basement probably 8 months ago, tried to pull out some of the stuff we planned on keeping. So there's some furniture down on this end. It's gonna be really dark in here, but hopefully the camera will adjust. So there's a bunch of furniture frames back in here. This must have been an office of some sort, and see, there's a piece of glass here. But we went ahead and put some cushions that we found over there. Still got to throw away some mattresses and things like that. But let's take a walk this direction. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Here's a finished couch that's sitting here. So there's just stuff everywhere, and some of the stuff we plan on reusing. Or giving away if someone thinks they could use it. Got the mannequins hanging out down here. There's their bottom halves. So yeah, you can see in the, I mean, that room's full of cushions on that end of that room. So we'll walk down this way. This room here has a leak right in the center. So the center of this floor here is pretty wet. If I were to walk out there, I'd end up in the basement. There's some holes. It's hard to see. It's really hard to see because it's so dark in here. Let's walk along this way. There's all those pieces of furniture. Yeah, it's super dark. It's gonna be really hard to see. I apologize for that. We'll walk around this way. This over here, so this is the front of the building over here, and right here is actually a ramp. Yeah, you can be able to see anything. Actually, there's some light at the bottom of the ramp that goes down into the basement. So I've got a ramp on this side and a ramp over there in the sawtooth. So there's the back door there. So I think I've talked about this. You probably can't see me, but I think I've talked about this before. I don't plan on keeping this whole end of the building. I think along these I-beams, there's 3 sections. So these back 2 sections here, I'd like to take the roof off, take the floor out of here. So it's just a big open area down to the concrete on the first floor. Just put a wall from over there, I think that column there, all the way across to that wall, and be able to use this space over here. In the basement directly downstairs between these columns, there's actually like a double door down there in the original brick wall. So I could still drive a vehicle in, come down, and be able to use the space downstairs for all of this area on the front side. And then everything over here would be open to the sky from the concrete floor downstairs. So I don't know what we'd use it for. Thought about just putting tennis court or basketball court or something fun for the kids. more of their play space. Leave all the brick walls. All the steel would stay as far as like the I-beams here and all of the I-beams here. So it would help keep the structure for that wall because it would be 2 stories tall. To help keep the structure of that wall. Figured on just keeping that steel there. So we'll walk around this way. Like I said, back here, this is a nurse's station. So I went ahead and popped this door open from the outside before I came in. So this is a room we haven't been in at all. So it needs to be cleaned out. Got plastic on the floor and all that. So here's a place, emergency eye wash station. It's really hard to see. And then here's the back door leading to the backyard. So yeah, this is the end of the building. That's the end of the building here. So really the property starts over in here all the way down here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk along the back of the building just over to where my end stops and where my parents' side picks up. So here's the back of the building. There's the end. It goes, that room goes all the way over to, I think, well, there's that door we don't use because the floor is rotted out. So the sawtooth starts right here. This is the one sawtooth that was probably going to end up coming down because it's where it's separating from this other building. All the water's coming down. Here's a gazebo here that they had, I guess, for taking breaks. I don't know what we're going to do with this. We have so many places that we can have outdoor courtyards and things like that. I don't really see ourselves keeping it, but it's in decent shape. Honestly, told Jennifer if I could get somebody that could come out here and move it over to our house right now, I would do that and just put it in the backyard. So that's a possibility. So like I said, this sawtooth was coming down. I think it's just that one there. And then it'll be the 5 over here. So the structural engineer came by. The building's in pretty good shape except for those beams that come down in the sawtooth. We'll have to sister those together. But over here, I'll show you, there's actually another spot that will have to be addressed. The brick is kind of, there was an addition added that's kind of pulling away from the original building. Here's a water reservoir. It's probably about 6 or 7 feet deep. There's only like a couple inches of water in it, but it's about 6 feet down to the bottom. We'll walk around this way. This is the bump out that I was talking about. That's kind of separating. These are the bathrooms that are over on the far end of the sawtooth that we plan on keeping. This is where I was talking about where the brick is cracking all the way up. So we'll have to tie this together or do something a little bit different. And then this is all going to come off here because these 2 windows, if I remember right, these 2 windows are going to be where the kitchen is. So in order for us to open these windows up to the outside, this whole thing's going to have to come down. So it's kind of a bummer. I actually kind of like it with the weathered lumber look. And these are actually windows that lead to the basement. And there's a deeper kind of section over there with a vent that leads in the basement. So if we can open these up eventually, it'll let a whole lot more light down into the basement. So that'd be kind of neat. So we'll keep walking this way. One thing we plan on doing is getting out here before spring comes back around. We're gonna try to clean all this stuff out so that way it doesn't grow back up. This room here is the mountain lion room. So it's got all the windows here. So this is the room that we were talking about just using as an outdoor entertaining space. So we're pretty much down to the other end of my end of the building. So that's, as you can see, it continues down there quite a way. So yeah, this is pretty much the halfway point. Here's the boiler room. That was what was used to heat the whole space. Pipe would go across and then it would pipe the heat both directions. So this is a really cool room. I really like this mountain lion room. I can't wait to use this one. So once it's all opened up to the courtyard on the other side, you'll be able to see all the way through into the courtyard, into what's now the sawtooth. So you'll be able to open up into all that. So I mean, it's a decent sized space back here. We got the fence all along here with the railroad tracks, which, like I said, we kind of have to keep an eye on this fence. Like right here, we've had to make a patch because people come back and cut holes in the fence and then come in here and break in through the windows. That last window down here on the lion room down there, we've had them, about 4 or 5 teenage kids break that window open and sneak in and busted up a bunch of cans of paint and whatnot and just created a mess. Got that on camera, but you know, just stuff like that just kind of takes us off with the project. So yeah, I mean, it's a great backyard. I honestly don't even know how much we'll use this space because we'll have the big yard out front, have the courtyard off this end over here. This little room, the roof is gone. This is the one bathroom. I don't know if this is the men's bathroom, but we're thinking about using the door for the bathroom, just getting rid of all this and putting a little porch so that way we can use the bathroom for the door, come out and be able to use the backyard, because there's really no door back to the backyard except for the ones back on that far end. So yeah, I don't know if we'll end up, I don't know, we'll probably end up using that door to come out here if we ever need to come back here, or let the dogs out back here, keep them back here and whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of a different tour. We haven't been back here, I don't think. I think I've shown a few little clips, but nothing really substantial. But yeah, it's just a neat place. It's really overgrown in the summer, so you can't see a whole lot. There's this gazebo, the other end of this gazebo, you can see a little bit better. So I figured now would be a good time to kind of walk back here and show you what's back here. So yeah, a little bit different video. So like I mentioned in the last video, I'm gonna try to challenge myself to get to 75 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you could help me out with that and subscribe, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate that. But other than that, I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.